Man, it is good to be back. It's great to be back. So, it is Monday, and we finished up our truck service appointment for that ticking sound. I'm going to say I'm not very happy. Not because there's anything wrong with the truck. It turns out there's really not, allegedly. But because we had to pay for the diagnostic. Now, I did call, to their credit, I called Stellantis. They started a case. They're going to reimburse us, apparently. But because they didn't find it, even though it's all under warranty, and even though we've had a diagnostic where they didn't find anything that was our fault before, like the transmission, they didn't charge us then. They charge us now because we changed our own oil, which is weird. But what did they find? That you guys have seen the ticking. Well, what did they find? They found that it was a fuel delivery deal. So it's a new fuel pump they use in these. 4th gen or something like that. A fuel pump. They found that those actually do make a ticking noise. That's an odd thing to, but he goes, no, the stethoscope up to it, off we go. Here's the thing. They confirmed that I changed out, that I used the Mopar parts, so that wasn't the issue. That I used the right oil, and everything's looking great. I did a good job. He opens up the fuel filter canister, found that it was a brand new fuel filter. Everything looks good there. And he goes, yeah, it's just air in the lines. But the weird thing is that this happened immediately, it was apparent immediately after the oil change. Why? I don't know. So you guys, if you watch that video, we did the oil change, the filter, all that, all in one. Didn't touch anything else, started up, heard that ticking noise. So it could be that the oil had actually changed the sound of the motor somehow. Or the city, maybe the way that it was using fuel changed a little bit. Fuel economy has increased, so it could be something related to that. And after changing the fuel filters, I actually didn't notice an increase or decrease in sound. So they did confirm, though, the fuel lines are right there, and they did not have actually, let me read to you specifically what it is. Yeah, the charge was for $147.48. The initial complaint, customer states ticking noise from engine since oil change, happens hot and cold, worse over 2,500 RPMs. You can really hear it, especially from the left front. Please advise, customer used Valvoline 10, weight 30, full synthetic oil, and a Mopar filter. I think it was Valvoline, it doesn't matter. Technician 4983 states, confirmed noise sound to be coming from the fuel system. Checked with stethoscope and found noise to be coming from the fuel system. Checked fuel filter status and they were recently performed by the customer. This result makes sense as often after fuel filter replacement, air gets introduced into the fuel system and causes air pockets that make a noise when under load. I do not have a repair recommendation at this time other than the noise level will go away, and it has somewhat after a little while, and it is a quirk of the new fuel systems. So, cool. Why do we pay $147 for somebody to just take a stethoscope to it when this is an abnormal condition? It definitely is abnormal to have a ticking sound for a fuel pump. It's a new fuel pump that we didn't have in our 2017 or 2018 Rams. Why do we have to? Okay, it doesn't matter. But initially she wrote it up as if we did something wrong. We have more work to do on the truck, so of course it's raining right now. It's sprinkling. I'm gonna shut all the windows and such, anyways. But at some point we need to get the ladder rack installed. It should be a bolt-on setup. I don't think it's gonna take us too long to get this going. And then what we'll do is we will adjust and fit our kind of homemade solar rack to that, so there's kind of a separate system there. And then we'll start bolting everything down. And oh, and we did check our mail, and look what came in the mail. So shout out to Gypsy Bewitched. It's a DJI Mic Mini, so we can actually have good audio. This should be far better than the GoPro audio. This was such a cool thing. So she bought it off the Amazon gift wish list thing that we have. This is really cool because we don't have the funds to buy this right now, and the DJI is a fantastic camera, but thanks, Gypsy. Oh my goodness.
It's very cool. That was very nice of her.
Very cool.
And I even said to Joel, I'm like, oh, that feels like a big thing to put on a wish list.
It is a big thing. I didn't expect anyone was going to buy it.
I was like, I feel like wish lists are like $20 things, like not very high price things. Like that feels a little. I'll go taco, but here we go.
Yeah,
that was very nice of her. Very, very kind.
Super kind. Yeah. So I'm really excited to try it out. We will be doing that. That'll be like a separate video. I should make a video about that. Because there's this one. There's one that's like far more expensive, but this one has better specs. So like the other one, I guess you can plug a lavalier mic into. It was just something we wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But this one has like everything that we care about: battery life, range, quality of sound. It sounds like it's equal or better than that one. So it's like, yeah, I'm really like, it's kind of humbling. It's just humbling. Yeah. But I do want to share. I mean, obviously you'll hear the mic in our videos, but like I kind of want to make a little review. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. All right, update time. So, well, how much we spent on this? $263, $263.99. Free delivery. Yeah, over $250, and I feel like some of it's just hardware issues. But I mean, it's relatively sturdy so far. So we have the frame here. We have 2 cross members that we're going to install. That's not a problem. Actually, this is an interesting thing. I think we have, it's upside down right now. I'm wondering if there's any way, probably not because of this component right here. I think this is actually part of the reason. Otherwise, it would be great to install this upside down so that our solar panels with the highest thing. But, you know, the side deals are not too bad either. So far, relatively so good on this front. There was definitely, that one's muddy. That was our fault. But there were definitely some good scratches. We documented that. We're gonna reach out to the seller, see what they like, the touch-up paint or what. We do have bed liner, but I want to see, like, is this like a common thing, or will they? If they send us another one, I don't know that I want to put another one of these together.
Probably just like use the parts we need.
Yeah.
And then not with the rest.
Yes. But that being said, one of the major components that is awesome about this is like these, and they have a little wiggle to them, but you know, what's all together, I think it'll be fine. But they are J hooks, and so there's a flat component underneath that distributes the load, right? And you can see, yeah, right under there. So that hangs on. Off we go. Not a big deal, except for one of them actually snapped right in half. And this is a regular drill, not an impact drill. This is not. Yeah, it snapped right in half. So easy component to replace. This is the rest of them seem to be pretty all right. Yeah. But I think we're gonna finish up the frame, and we can at least see kind of how it looks. It's time consuming.
Yeah, and I think that the hardest part too, or like one of the harder parts, is that they didn't actually label any of the pieces. So putting this together has been quite a feat. Yes, it has feet, and no words really. The directions suck. The directions do suck. This is horrible. And so they use like numbers 14, 14, 12, 13. So it's not like number 1. You need 3 of them, right? Like no, none of the parts are labeled either. No,
this makes IKEA look like a bunch of geniuses, really. But yeah, we're getting her done. We really only have 1, 2, 3 across. No, sorry, 2 in the middle, and then 4 on the sides, and then we should be able to stick it up here. Even missing the J hook, I'm confident that we can at least drive, go paint. And then we also want to paint that. So like the idea at least is that this part that we built here, which is not, I mean, this is supposed to carry 1,000 pounds. It should be more than enough. We're just basically going to unbolt this lower component. Yeah, well, if we have any extra parts that we cannot return, like, you know, the unistrut, we'll go ahead and just stick those in Lenny, and, you know, off we go. We'll use those for a future solar project, I'm sure. right, so it's installed. I think it looks pretty good, and it is a tight fit. It really is. I'll tell you what. Which I think is going to look a little better, because yeah, look at that. There's not much room up there. And let me just give you a specific example. It's maybe 2 inches. It's up there. But this sucker here, go ahead and pull up on that thing. Like, it does not. Okay, so obviously snap 2 of these J bolts. We need 2 more J bolts. But other than that, you know, it is not moving. And here's why it doesn't move for anybody that wants to like DIY something like this. Frankly, this is probably only a little bit more, maybe less than doing one of those, which we're still going to use that. Actually, more on that in just a second. But they have bracing here. So this is the bar that goes across. They have bracing here. Cannot go, you know, left and right. That brackets down. And then more bracing here. Won't go left and right. Same thing here and here. And then obviously on the opposite side as well. So this looks really good. I was initially a little bit, you know, we've talked about like sag, right? Because this guy does have a slight bit of sag, but what we're finding is the sag is over here. And so we have a bar that they would have normally put out the middle. And so we're gonna have obviously that frame is going to fit here and here. So I don't think the panels are really gonna wanna sag much. And there's cross bracing in that alone. And then it'll also be here. So that that's a little bit under 120 inches. Not a big deal. We're gonna bolt through. So this thing, actually, we're gonna pull this back off. It definitely needs to be repainted. But again, in terms of sturdiness, like, yeah, you're pulling a truck, it ain't going nowhere. Very, very excited about this. I do expect it will whistle on us. Actually, okay, here's a test. Will the sunroof pop open?
I sure hope so, because my one request was that the sunroof was still usable.
Yeah,
and the bar already crosses it.
Yeesh. Hold on. Okay, yeah, because it does. You can see it right up in there. All right, I'll tell you to put it back down if... Oh, this is going to be tight. Oh, maybe don't do that, actually. Here, try tilt. You might have to put it right back down. Wait, what? Oh, wow. Whoa. Okay. Okay, so it could. So we might put some rubber on the bottom of that. But you can see, I'm like, oh, yeah, that could do a little bit of that. Whoa, it's just...
Can I try to open it?
Yeah, go ahead and open it. Opening it goes down and in, so I'm not worried about that. Yeah, that's all good. So yeah, we're gonna get some rubber on the bottom of this. And then we got to figure out how to like break up the sound. Here's the other thing that was not in the description, is that these upper bars, which give a lot of rigidity to it, these upper bars are awesome. They're not as tall as I was expecting, so that's not going to be an issue, right? Like, we're going to be able to, you know, throw the panels like we'll have the C channel right here, the unistrut rather. Let me think. Yeah, so we'll have that there. That's going to raise up. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a little tight, but you see, these actually come in. So we have just over 51 inches between, and that thing is about, you said it's just over 51 inches?
It's 51 and a half.
It's 51 and a half for that thing. And the panels, I think, are 50.3 inches. So I'm going to have to double check that. But then we also have brackets. If there's a will, there's a way to do anything, right? Right. God, I hope we did not go through all of this. This is a pain. I hope we did not go through all of this for nada. Yeah, so we need to go. If we're gonna pull this stuff off, so we'll pull these off here, off these feet. Oh, they're like hanging. They kind of hangs from this. So we'll get this off and see if we can pop it on there. That was pure luck that it's able to do that. So yeah, this, you said 51 inches or so, 51 and a half for this frame.
51 to this, 51 and a half to the outside of these.
51 and a half to this, okay. All right, we got a couple screws, bolts rather. Let's get these off and Let's see our opportunities. All right, and here we are above. So here's what we've got. These bolts in particular are a real pickle here, and this all comes in just enough, only down here. I think it's just one of those. You know, it's actually weird because it should all be squared up, but yeah. So we could potentially, golly, yeah, we could potentially make something work here, as it is, but for the fact that like up here, these bolts, you know, we could smack those in, but there's another pinch point right here, so that's just not going to happen. What we could do, we could potentially turn these around as one option, but I still think we're going to have an issue in between this upper area. That being said, the frame fits. The solar panels are going to be just slightly above those. So what we're thinking, really, we're still brainstorming because, you know, this is the whole thing. Also, I might add, so we scooted it back a little bit, but there's really we're not worried about Boeing. This worked out pretty well. So the plan was, though, that basically, I'm going to scoot this back. So essentially, the height of this is actually not an issue at all. And I think it looks pretty good. And this looks really good, I think. You know, and we don't even need these cross braces, I don't think. But I don't see a harm in keeping them. It'll also give us a place to run wires. So, if you turn that L bracket that way.
Which way?
Oh man, that's like barely that way, like it would be. Okay, that is just, I mean, it's so hard to tell if we could slap a solar panel in here. You know, it looks like we could if these weren't here, right? I think this is pinch point 1, these bolts, and wrong bolt. And these front ones. The front ones are the other pickle. So I think we've got to figure these guys out. So we already have the, you know, it's already stuck in there, and then, you know, it's resting on that one. If you guys can see that. Yeah, sort of resting on that. Oh, it's actually resting. Oh, I don't know. There's probably a way for that one. So that might be what we do. Or we're also thinking basically using a spacer. I like the idea of a hockey puck because it's rubber, hard rubber. And it might actually help isolate some of the rattle. I don't think there's going to be much rattle here once we like, maybe a little from, maybe we work on that part. But this will help isolate all of this. I also will say this. I think that this unistrut idea, I think it was still a really good idea. I think it's a really good idea because of just how modular this will be. So yeah, I think this is cutting it close, and the dimensions aren't quite right. Not as advertised, let me tell you. But I think that, like, I was worried these would be a lot higher. I was thinking these would cut a lot more sun out. Not the case at all. From what I'm seeing, that's not going to be an issue. This will all, of course, cover the top panels, but the side panels are then going to be the next deal. We'll tackle that, but I think we have some options here. Of course, we have these good braces. We've already got, you know, potential bolt holes right there, so maybe we've got something for that. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Poor guy has an ear infection still. Oh. Yeah, we might have something, you know, here. We'll see about that. Or, you know, of course, we have all this unistrut, and so maybe there's something we can do. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. We'll figure it out one way or another. But so far, I am ecstatic with how this is going. It's going to need a paint job. That is for sure. It's going to need a paint job. But it says that it could hold 10,000 pounds, and I 100% believe it. Unless I'm like somebody slamming on that thing, which I will add like rubber on the front end. Unless it's slamming on it, it doesn't shake. So, very happy. Anyways, we'll update you in the next few videos with how this goes, and see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
All right.